Hello everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello everyone. Can you hear me? Hello everyone. Can you hear me? Hello everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. Let me say hi or active. That is always your main decision. Okay. If you can hear me, let me know. But let's solve a question here, class. Please share the live video. Now, this is going to be a question and answer session on calculus. So we are given a question here, class. F of s, let f of s equal to sine inverse of s. And we are asked to find f prime of 0. Okay, let's solve this question here, class. Let's solve this question here. Please, are you done with the question? Let me know if you are done. Please just write down. Let me know. Are you done with the question? Let me know. Okay, let's solve the question here, class. We are given this question here that let f of s equal to sine inverse of s, and we are asked to find this. Now this is f prime of 0. Solution first. Okay, whenever you are asked to find, listen to me carefully. This symbol here, this symbol f raised to power minus 1 of s, and this symbol here f prime of s is not the same. They are not the same, please. This one here is telling us about inverse of a function, while this one here is telling us about differentiation or derivatives or coefficient of derivative. They are all the same. Either I call it differentiation, or you call it derivative, or you call it coefficient of derivative. Please take note, or differentiation. They are the same. If you are asked to find coefficient of differentiation, is the same thing as derivative. Okay. Now this is the one we are given, that is f prime of 0. So we're asked to differentiate this function here. Okay, now how do we differentiate inverse function like sine inverse of s? So this is what you have to do here, class. Let's differentiate this. But the first thing here is to write this function as a letter. Now, writing a function as a letter is the same as y equal to f of s. Remember, if I want to write a function as a letter, the letter there is y. If I want to write a letter as a function, it's going to be f of s. Please take note. So now let's write this as a letter, this function as a letter here. This is going to be y is equal to sine inverse of s. Please take note. So class, there is nothing like when we remember this function here. Remember this function here is a trig function. Okay, for those that have not attended most of my classes on differentiation, if you don't, okay, now let me just try to explain the fundamental parts, okay, before we solve this question here. Now, in solving any question on differentiation, there are things you need to know. The first, you need to know the function and the pattern of the pattern. Please take note. You need to know the function and their pattern of differentiation. Please take note. So whenever you are given a question, the first thing to identify is the function. So the function here is trig. Trig are sine, cosine, tangent, sec square, sorry, sec, cot, cosec. Okay, now these are trig. Whenever you are asked to differentiate sine, cosine, tangent, sec, cot, cosec. These are trig, and we have a pattern we differentiate that. So if you look into the special function of trig and their derivative, we don't have anything like sine inverse. So for me to differentiate this here, I have to make this to be a linear expression, not in an inverse expression. I have to make this down here, this one here, to be a linear expression, not inverse expression. And how do we do that? Remember, if I have this to be sine, what you know, sine theta. The first expression, I'm coming please. The first expression and the second expressions are the same, okay? Now let's um differentiate. Now remember, we can't differentiate the first one. Okay, now we don't have any special function of sine inverse, but we have special function of sine. Okay, now remember there's a special function to differentiate all trig. And what is that special function here, class? We have this to be this is special function here, that if you have y as equation, that the y, the derivative of it at this part. So if I have sine s, derivative will be cos s. Remember, if I have cos s, derivative will be minus sine s. If I have tan s, derivative will be sec square s. Not to write theta. Okay, sec s. Okay. If I have sec, Okay, these are the things you need to know. The derivative will be sec s tan s. If I have cot s, derivative will be minus cosec square s. If I have cosec s, derivative will be minus cosec s cot s. Please you can write this down. This is this special function and their derivative under trig. Okay, you can write this one down. Please, when you are done, let me know. Just say done. Okay. You can also send me any question you want me to treat. Okay, are you done? Okay, now let's move on here. Please, if you're not that fast, you can just screenshot it and we'll move on, okay? Now, this is what you also differentiate this guy here. But differentiating this guy here is both sides, that is both the y side and the s sides, okay? So let's differentiate. I'll differentiate this guy. Remember, in terms of differentiation, whenever you are differentiating anything that relates with y, you differentiate that stuff and attach the y, the s to it. But whenever you are differentiating anything that is of s, you differentiate that stuff totally like the way you normally differentiate. So now let's differentiate this. Please let me clean this part here. So class, let's differentiate this. Differentiate this. This will be called sorry sine y dy over dx is equal to 1. So now let's make dy dx the subject. Dy over dx is equal to 1 over cos y. But if you look into what is given to us here, if you look into the derivative here, it's depending on s. Please take note. So there is no s here, so it's not balanced. So let's balance this expression here. To balance this here, class, we have to record that we have to look, can you see it? Please, I'm very sorry. I got this network issue. Hello, can you hear me? Okay, let me explain this. Let me explain this. I don't know where I stopped though. Okay, class, let me explain this. Now we have a question like this, that f of s is equal to sine inverse of s. We're asked to find f prime of 0. These are the options here, okay? Now let's first of all know what f prime of s is if I have it to be in terms of s. Okay. Now if you have it to be in terms of s here, so f prime of s means derivative of f. And now for us to write this f of s as a letter, we say that f of s as a letter is the same as y. Please take note. There is a function as a letter is the same as y. So when you do that, you have this particular expression here. That is this expression here. Please take note. We have this here. Okay. Now, in derivative, we don't have any special format to differentiate inverse. But we can make inverse to be a linear form. So making inverse to be a linear form, I have it to be this. That is sine y is equal to s is the same thing as this guy here. So differentiating both sides, that is differentiate the left hand side and the right hand side differently. So when you do that, differentiate this guy here to be cos y. So since I'm differentiating with respect to s, I will keep the derivative to it. Differentiate s, I will have it to be 1. Now make dy ds this solvent of formula here. Dy ds will be equal to 1 over cos y. So since I'm differentiating with respect to s, that means what I will expect at the right hand side will be s. but it's not s in this form here. Okay, now how do we make this guy here to be s? So we recall from our trig function, our trigonometry law or identity, that cos y plus sine y is equal to that cos square y plus sine square y is equal to 1. So making cos y the subject, we have this, but there is an expression that relates sine y with s, and that expression is this guy here. So it means that anywhere you see sine square y is the same as s all square. So I will have the expression to be square root of that is cos y will be equal to square root of 1 minus s square. So writing the y ds as in form of s at the right hand side. So cos y is the same as square root of 1 minus s square. But we are asked to replace the value of s as 0. If you have this to be f of s and you have f of 0, that means at this point here, the value of s is 0 here. So finding the f prime, the derivative at the point of 0. So I will have something like this, class. Let me clean my board, please. Please, you can share this thing. Sorry for the network. You can share the link to your friends. So I'll have this to be, at this point here, s equal to 0. That means our dy over the s will be equal to plus 1 over square root of 1 minus 0 square. So I will have this to be 1 over square root of 1, and square root of 1 is 1, which is what? 1. Please take note. So this is my answer here. So you can tick the option there. Which option that is 1? Option B. So the answer is B. So let's solve the next question here, class. Question 2. Question 2. Question 2. Okay. For those joining now, please you can share to your friends. Just share to your friends, okay? And if you have any question, you can send to me. I will attend to that question. Just send it. I will solve it. Any question on calculus, okay? Now let's solve this question here, class. The next question here, they said, let y equal to 4 exponential tan s. Find dy over the s. A, we have 4 sec square s. B, 4 exponential tan s. C, 4 exponential tan s dot cot s.